Hey guys, welcome back to my puzzle bubble. So today I'm going to be starting a rather large puzzle project. I am going to be putting together this absolutely stunning 3,000 piece Zodiac puzzle by Ravensburger. Now, comparing this puzzle to other large puzzles that I've put together, this is not the biggest one I've done. It's not even close. I've actually put together a 9,000 piece Disney puzzle. I've put together a 5,000 piece Disney puzzle. And I've also done one other 3,000 piece puzzle before, and that was the Karen Puzzles one. So I do have a lot more experience when it comes to working with larger scale puzzles, and I'm hoping that's going to pay off with this design here. I'm really hoping it's not going to take longer than a week or two to put together. I mean, looking at the image itself, it's just such a beautiful puzzle. You have all the 12 zodiac signs in this central area here, and then they're just surrounded by the accompanying images. All the illustrations on this are just so beautiful. I am actually a Cancer star sign, so I am the crab right at the bottom there. And the whole design has these gorgeous purple galaxy colors flowing throughout, which purple is my all-time favorite color, so I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And then it has all the gold detailing, all the gold stars, and the really pretty gold border to bring it all together. Okay, so the very first step when working on a mega puzzle like this is storage. So I have to work on a puzzle of this scale on my living room floor because the table that I have behind me is only just large enough to work on a 1,000 piece puzzle. It is nowhere near big enough to balance a 3,000 piece. So I do all my puzzling on these A1 sturdy foam boards. But again, the issue that I'm going to run into here is these foam boards are only big enough to fit a 1,000 piece puzzle. So the completed puzzle dimensions of this particular design is going to be 121 centimeters by 80 centimeters. So now I'm going to have to do some math calculations and create a large enough board that will fit the entire puzzle. Okay, so I've discovered that placing two of the foam boards together is enough to fit the puzzle vertically. It fits the 80 centimeters with enough each side as well. However, the issue that I'm running into with this is 121 centimeters goes over the board by 2 centimeters. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this spare board. I'm going to cut off extra sections to add to both halves to give it that extra buffer, and then the puzzle should fit nicely. Just adding some extra tape on the back side to make sure that the board is extra sturdy. Okay, now let's double check that the puzzle is definitely going to fit on this board. 120. Yes, perfect. That's going to fit really nicely. So I've also just checked the other important factor when it comes to storage, and that is that the puzzle board fits very nicely in this corner of my living room, which is where I will be storing the puzzle when I'm not working on it. It's actually the little corner behind my living room door. So the door can still open, I can still use the living room, and the puzzle can sit there for the next week or two while I'm working on it. Okay, so now that the puzzle board is complete, I'll pop that over to one side. I'm just going to keep it over there because we're not going to need that for a while yet. And now we finally get to dive into this box. Okay, I'm finally breaking the seals. Oh, if I can, there we go. There we go. Flip it over. Oh, so heavy. Oh my goodness, that is a lot of puzzle pieces. Let's dump it out. Okay, here we go. I'm going to try and do this as carefully as I can. Oh my goodness, it just keeps coming. I can't. And try not to spill any. Always triple check your bags just to make sure you're not leaving any pieces behind. Nope. Look at this absolute mountain of pieces. Damn, it has been a while since I've seen this many puzzle pieces. I'm getting flashbacks to the 9,000 piece puzzle a little bit. Okay, so now that I've spent a good amount of time staring at this pile, feeling very overwhelmed, I may as well just jump into perhaps the most boring part of a big puzzle solve like this, and that is the sorting process. Okay, so this is the setup that I'm working with for the sorting. I'm going to use this smaller board for the edge pieces, and then I have 3 extra boards. Again, I'm not entirely sure which sections I'm going to be sorting out as I make my way through this pile. And then I have decided to watch Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire in the background. Okay, so this is how we're now looking after the initial sort. I will say the amount of puzzle dust that has come off all those puzzle pieces is insane. It's not showing up as well on the camera, but my hands were completely blue after all that sorting. So the piles that I managed to sort are the edges, of course. These are just the plain background pieces. This pile over here is all the lines. So I think it's all of the lines of this circle here as well as the border and the outline. And then this final pile that I made up was basically everything else, which I think a majority is going to be all the illustrations around the edge of the puzzle. So I think I'm going to finish the puzzle there for today. I'm just going to organize them and better sort them on day 2. Okay, so it is now day 2 of the sorting process. I've woken up and I'm re-looking at these boards of pieces that I sorted last night. And honestly, I feel like I need to go in one more time and do some resorting and reorganization a little bit, because honestly, it's just looking a bit messy still. And I think one more sort will just really make my life a lot easier in the long run. Okay, so I'm gonna get ready to sit down and sort some more. I'm gonna keep watching Harry Potter while I do it, but for you watching, it's gonna be a quick and seamless editing transition. First up, we have the background pieces, and now the outline pieces, and finally the illustrations. So I will admit, when I was sorting the illustration pieces, there are just so many colors and textures. It was almost impossible to do a sort, so I just organized them instead. So I have just finished another 1 hour, 20 minutes worth of sorting, but it was time well spent because even though it still looks a little bit chaotic, things are much more organized now. So this is the current state of what we're working with. You can see some of the pieces I just laid out if I couldn't actually find a sorting home for them. And then I have piles of pieces that I'm pretty confident that I have sorted into the same section. So now that the boring sorting is done and dusted, I can finally get on to the very exciting puzzling process. Okay, so I think I'm actually going to start with this very small, non-intimidating pile of pieces here, which is the sun. I'm hoping I got all the pieces, but there's only one way to find out. And if you're wondering why I'm not starting with the edge of the puzzle on this one, I'll show you why. This is why I'm not starting on the edge. The entire thing is all made up of pure black pieces. That's gonna be really difficult to do, so I'm gonna save that till towards the end. The first 2 pieces have been put together. Okay, so I just spent a quick 15-20 minutes putting together that little sun piece. I was drastically scouring for more of the pieces, but unfortunately I am missing a few from the center there, but mostly I did get them all. This is what I've done so far, and look how much I have left to fill. Okay, we are officially on day 3 of this puzzle solve, and before I get started today, I just wanted to quickly show you how I store the boards when I'm not using them. So I stack them very, very carefully on top of one another in this little corner of my living room. So it's nicely out of the way and I can still have a functional living room on the days that I'm not working on the puzzle. Okay, so I did find some extra pieces of the sun in between when I last worked on the puzzle and now. So I have added a few pieces and I've also found a few more, which I'm pretty certain are also part of the sun. So I'm gonna add them first before we move on to the next bit. This one definitely is. I already know where you go. I'm really, really annoyed that I can't find this piece yet. Still such a long way to go. Okay, so it's kind of intimidating not knowing which section to jump into next, but after looking at the box and the different piles that I have separated, I think I'm going to start on the writing of all the different star signs because I know I have most of those pieces pulled in a really manageable pile. So I think that's going to be my next mission. And I'm going to see if I can do the Cancer first because that's my star sign. Okay, so I think that's about as complete as I can get it for now. And I'm happy that I did my star sign first, and now I'm gonna move on to all the other ones. Okay, so I have all the 12 star signs pretty much put together. There are some gaps here and there, but I'm going to place them where they belong on the circle of the puzzle. Here they all are in a circle. I definitely haven't spaced these out correctly, but it's good enough for now so that I can work off of that. I guess get started with some more of the circle. Okay, I am now on day 4 of trying to solve this 3,000 piece puzzle, and this is the current state of what I have completed so far. So I spent a whopping 4 hours trying to put this circular section together. It was so much more difficult than I was expecting, and as you can see, I've only managed to put like maybe 80% of it actually together. Towards the top of the puzzle here, where the lines were slightly smaller and the background colors were really distinct, I've done a majority. It is all connected up here, and I have connected the sun part to the circle as well, which is good. But as you move further down the puzzle, the lines become thicker and they become more similar in shape and color. And so there are lots of gaps and also lots of maybe pieces that are just kind of floating. I don't really know where they connect. What I do know though is that I'm officially sick of working on these circular pieces with all these lines. I've seen too many lines. I need to move on to something different. You can see that I actually don't have that many of the line pieces left to put in, but honestly, I'm just getting too bored of it. I need to move on, so I'm gonna try the illustration images instead. So what I did in prep for this morning was I spent about an hour and 45 minutes sorting that big board of pieces into 12 somewhat distinct piles, I'm hoping, for the 12 different illustrations of the star signs. And I also have a couple of piles in the middle, which is the moon and the telescope part of the puzzle. So I think the plan for today is literally just work around this board section by section and treating each of these images as their own kind of individual puzzle within the puzzle, and see how much I can get done. Okay, so this is what the puzzle's looking at the moment after completing all the illustrations. That took approximately 2 hours 45 minutes and it was really super fun and easy. Each individual picture took me on average about 15 minutes each. As you can see, I got most of the pieces. There are a few gaps here and there, but for the most part, it's now really filled out. So next up, I'm gonna work on this board of pieces, which as you can see is just all the like star constellations that are hidden throughout the puzzle. I'm going to put all these together and then find their home as well, just to fill it out even more. So all the stars are now completed and placed within the puzzle. And amazingly, I figured out that this section in the middle here of the circle was way more compacted than I realized. The actual shape is not a circle. Now looking at it, it's quite obvious. It's more of an oval shape. So no wonder I was struggling with the outer circle. I had it set up way bigger than it should have been, and now it's compacted together. It really doesn't look like I have that much of the edge left to do. So I think the last thing I'm going to do tonight is try and finish off all the last of the outline pieces now that I finally have the correct shape. So we are now on officially day 5 of this puzzle solve. Yesterday was a mammoth day for puzzling. I did over 4 hours total of puzzling, but look how good this puzzle is looking now. This is the current situation of the puzzle as it stands on day 5. As you can see, last night I did finally manage to finish up all of the line of the circle here. It's all finally finished. It was so much easier to work on it once I had done the illustrations around the edge. I feel like I should have done that from the beginning. Also, I'm really annoyed that I still haven't found this piece of the sun yet. So yeah, I think my next job is going to be working off of this board and just filling in all the background spaces in between the pictures. Oh my goodness, I finally found that missing sun piece. Just a reminder, the sun was the very first thing I started on, but I'd accidentally sorted it with the border, so that's why it took me so long to find, but here we go. Finally finished. Speaking of the border, I think I'm going to start on that next because honestly, the background pieces are just way too difficult to do at the moment. So I'm thinking if I can do the border, that will give me even more to work off to finish the background. Okay, so the border is now pretty much finished. As you can see, the only big thing missing is the corners, which you can see have this gold detailing pattern in all 4 of them. And that is what I am gonna tackle next. So 1 hour, 20 minutes later, and I have finally finished the 4 corners of the puzzle. Again, pretty difficult because as you can see, they are exactly the same design pretty much, so it's hard to differentiate between which piece went on which corner, but now I can finally place them in the puzzle. So this is what the puzzle is looking like now at the end of today. The borders and edges are officially complete, and all that is left now are the random patches of background in between everything and the rest of the edges. Annoyingly, I have run out of hours in the day today, so I'm gonna have to do 1 more day of puzzling, but I'm gonna get this thing finished tomorrow. Okay, so I am now on day 6 of solving this 3,000 piece puzzle, but today is the day. It is the final day. I will complete this puzzle. You can see that everything is pretty much done. It is literally going to be a case of working my way through and filling in the gaps with a lot of shape sorting. And I have just 1 board of puzzle pieces remaining now, which, considering how many pieces there were at the start of this project, that's very exciting. I do have the edges, of course, still, but those will be the last things that I do. I just want to get stuck into puzzling today and finally see what this puzzle looks like complete. Okay, so that took almost exactly 2 hours, but the entire inner part of the circle is now finally complete. Once I shape sorted, everything did move a lot faster, and now I'm just going to finish up and work my way along the edge pieces. Oh, the most exciting part, the final piece of this puzzle is about to go in. And there you have it, one completed 3,000 piece Zodiac puzzle in 6 puzzling days, which spanned over 2 weeks. And in total, I was tracking how long it took me to put this together, and it took a whopping 20 hours, 54 minutes, so just shy of 21 hours total. Was that a lot of time to spend on a puzzle? Absolutely. Was it worth it? 100%. Look at how beautiful this puzzle is now that it's complete. I will say that the border was a lot harder than I was expecting as well. I'm very glad I left it till the end. I was getting a lot of false fits. However, what I did find with the false fits is that it directly correlated to the exact opposite part of the puzzle. So I took my false fit section off of here and found the exact spot in the directly opposite location. So once I figured out that hack, that kind of helped me a little bit, but honestly, it was just a whole lot of trial and error. Now, would I recommend this puzzle to you guys? That totally depends on how into puzzling you are. If you're a beginner puzzler looking to adventure into larger scale puzzles, I would recommend to stay away from this one. But if you're more on the intermediate to advanced level of puzzling and you're like me and you just love the puzzle challenge, then absolutely give this one a go. I also think that the 3,000 piece puzzles are a really nice compromise between the smaller, more standard 1,000 pieces and some of the more larger scale, like 10,000 plus pieces. This kind of size is pretty manageable, I think, for most people to complete in their own house, even if you do have to do some living room rearranging to make it happen. Overall, I really enjoyed putting this puzzle together. I'm gonna leave it together for a little while because it took just so long, but I will be demolishing it at some point. Will I do this puzzle again? Potentially, I'm not sure yet. It was very difficult, we'll see. But for now, I'm just going to admire the puzzle. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it all the way to the end, I really appreciate that. And I will catch you in the next one.